Welcome to UACCM Auto Service. We're going to do a virtual tour of our shop and also a class that's going on at the time. I'm John Jackson. I'm our lead instructor here at the college. With me is Ben Jackson, a student, second-year student, and Cody Bearden, another second-year student, that they're going to go through the virtual tour with us and may try to give you an idea of what a student's perspective of something is, not just an instructor's. So we're going to start by talking a little bit about certifications. In our program, you have the ability, as far as when you come, to get a CP, a TC, and an AAS. A lot of y'all out there are going, what in the world is he talking about? Well, basically in one semester you can get a CP, which basically tells you that you've learned a little bit of stuff and knowledge where you can start to get into the field maybe at a base level. A TC, that's a technical certificate, which you get in a year's time if you complete the amount of classes that it takes to get that. That would give you more education towards a job skill in the field. And then the AAS, or associate's degree, is a full 2-year college degree. That's where you could finish with as a student through the program. An associate degree is what we prefer. The more knowledge you have, the better off the chances of making better pay in the field would be. Both of these students here are already achieved their technical certificates, working towards the associate's degree, so they're going in the right direction. Actually, both of these have already pretty much got employment, and they still even lack the rest of the remainder of their third semester and in their fourth semester, but have already got a job whenever they leave. We use Cody for an example. He did an internship between his second and third semester with Audi in Little Rock and received a scholarship to pay for his third and hopefully his fourth semester as well. Have you through Audi? Yeah. So they're paying his tuition and fees for his last 2 semesters through that scholarship program. Ben, he's also going to be interning this upcoming semester, local Ford there at McGee Ford. So both of them will have the chance for internship before they graduate. I feel both of them will probably also have employment of where they would like to intern if possible, if that was what they want to do. But as far as a little bit about certifications. So we are an ASE accredited program, and if you'll turn and look at that sign right there, it just shows you an ASE sign on the wall, and it says that we are an accredited training facility for ASE. So that gives you the ability as a student, as you take classes, when you finish a class, for example, first semester electrical class, after you finish that semester, you can take your ASE in electrical. Chassis and steering is also a first semester class. You can take your ASE testing on chassis and steering. If you pass that test, you do get a student certification. Now there is a difference between a student certification and a regular ASE. A regular ASE, you have to have 2 years work experience, where a student certification, if you graduate with an associate's degree, it will take 1 year of work experience off, so then you would only have to work 1 year in the field before you could take your regular ASEs and get your ASE certifications. A good thing about taking ASE here, it trains you and educates you of how the tests are done, and you get the knowledge of which it takes. I promise you, if you can pass our classes, that you're going to be perfectly able to pass an ASE exam. So we do offer you student ASEs. Other certifications that we have a program through Ford. It's called the ACE program, and the ACE program basically gives you access to the same information that a Ford technician is getting on their training. So as we go through classes, these guys get the opportunity. Right now, you're in automatic transmissions, engine performance, and climate control, both of y'all, right? So as we finish up a section of classwork in that, they can follow along in their ACE slides, and it has testing, and then it has the certification test. If they pass that certification test, they get a certification in a section of what was the automatic transmission, was intro to automatic transmission. There was another one on electrical, and then in climate control, there was a couple, power flow and such. So gives them an opportunity to get some certifications, and these certifications are not student certifications, they are Ford certifications. So if they decide to go to work at a Ford dealer, they will go right into their certification, into their plan of study of where they need to get to be a master tech. They may have to go do some more training in Memphis or Dallas or somewhere like that to complete the finalizing of that. But they do get certifications through Ford in the ACE program. So there's some more certifications. I think we give out almost 400 certifications last semester. Why are certifications important? Before I get to where they're important, let me talk about Snap-on just a little bit. And Ben, can you step that way just a bit? If you look at this box right here, it gives you a website for Snap-on. And it basically, we are a full partner with Snap-on. I think we're the only one in the state that has a full partnership with Snap-on. So we have the ability to give you some certifications with Snap-on as well. If you'll look in this box, let him get the video camera where he can see down in the box. There's multimeters. So we give you the opportunity with Snap-on to take a certification on training of a multimeter and also an amp clamp. And also we have some on the workshop manuals that we use to fix cars. You also have a chance with Snap-on to get certified in the workshop manuals. Y'all too have got certifications in 504 and 575 and also in Shopkey? So they're certified in those areas. So there's some Snap-on certifications that go along with our other certifications. Back to all the certifications that we give out. Why is it important to get a certification, Cody?
It helps us get paid better.
Better pay, or also
Better knowledge,
and then potentially to get a job. When you go to put out on your resume, you put all these certifications that you previously got in college, you look really well to them on paper. Well, not only on paper, Ben says it's knowledge and better pay. I agree. It shows that you can do things. So that's an awesome opportunity. So that's a little bit about certifications, and we're high. We like to get certifications. That's a great process. We're going to take a little walk around the shop and let you look at some of our equipment that we have in our shop and how that tools. We have, as I say, I mentioned the partnership with Snap-on. We also have an agreement with Matco Tool Company. If you're a student at UACCM, you have the ability to buy tools at a huge discounted price through Snap-on or Matco. You can buy them, it varies per tool, but approximately around half price. Now they do limit you to a certain dollar amount that you can buy, but they do allow you enough that you can get a toolbox and a nice set of tools to go to work. So that is also a great advantage of us being partnered with them for the students. I like to think of everything we do at the college is towards what they're going to be doing later, helping them. So we are going to take a quick look around the shop. So we're going to go this way. So as we go, this tool room right here, if you want to take a peek inside the tool room, this is all specialty tools. It also holds our air compressor and such as that. But if I were to do a timing job and I needed specific tools to time it, we keep that type of stuff in here. Air conditioning tools. We also have automatic transmission tools. Whatever class that we have the tools. So I'm gonna ask these two guys. On tools, how are we setting on the classes you've taken as far as what you need?
Oh, we've got everything. You got really more than you need. They're all organized. We've got every size tool. They're quality tools.
We even have a lot of special tools that help us test things.
Yeah, and we'll get around and we'll look at some scanners here in a little bit. One of y'all want to grab a regular scanner out of the tool room where we can give them an idea of what maybe one of the scanners that we use quite often is a Snap-on, and it's Ben's getting one for us real quick. Unzip that, Ben, where they can take a quick look at that. This is just a simple scan tool, but what abilities do we have with this scan tool? One of y'all.
We can look at codes and kids.
So if we're running a test for a check engine light or a transmission problem or an airbag light or whatever it be, they can pull up, they would use this scan tool to give them a direction of guidance towards diagnostics.
Oh, definitely.
That's it. Yeah, and then during diagnostics, during engine performance class, what do y'all learn about how do we diagnose wise? Cody, Ben's putting that up, so I'll let you answer that.
Well, we try to narrow down the problem to a smaller area, and we can use the scanning tools to look at different voltages and different readings, help us find the problem.
And what kind of test would we want to probably run to narrow that down, Ben?
We want to run a pinpoint test. It'll give you different things to go check in a certain order. It'll help you identify what's wrong with the car the fastest. Easiest way to do it.
So we teach testing, not guessing. A lot of that goes on. So we're going to just keep walking this way, and we're going to take a look at a toolbox and some tools that they have as far as hand tools. I want the students potentially that would be coming to our program to understand what they would be working with. Nice Audi car that all the cars in this shop are owned by the university. So we can fit our curriculum to the car. We can bug a car. They can have a check engine light on this car, run a pinpoint test. I do all the bugging on that particular class, so I set it up to what we've taught, and then they get a scenario where they can actually do it. So we learn in a classroom setting of lecture, and then we have a lab that bases off of what we just did in lecture. Is that true?
Yep.
So, as far as toolbox wise, if you want to come around and take a look, this is one of our basic hand tools, and this is, I've not went through it this morning, but they look like this on a daily basis. They don't, if I open up this stuff and look drawer by drawer, that's the way they're gonna look. We do take pride in, our students take pride in keeping these toolboxes organized and all the tools there. If you cannot find a tool, you just get aggravated, and if you're in a production setting of like in a dealership, you get paid by what you do. So the ability to not find your tool costs you money. So we teach that now. And it's very important to us to be able to find the tools that we need to do the jobs. Let's walk on down this side of the shop, and we're going to take a look at a couple of other pieces of equipment. If you'll notice as you're walking, there's racks everywhere. There's like 10 regular racks, and then we got an alignment rack over here on the end. Another toolbox, lots of vehicles, battery chargers. We're gonna walk on down to this corner down here and talk a little bit about some of these specialty tools along the wall. We do have a hot box to wash transmission parts in if need be, and also a press in this corner. Behind you, if you'll just swing and I'll keep talking, we got brake lathes that when we do brakes class, we got brake lathes. And then we got a tire machine, as far as two tire machines as far as removal and installation of tires, and then also a late model wheel balancer. They are John Bean, which those are built here in Arkansas. So the casings for these wheel balancers are built in Conway, which is awesome. But John Bean is basically Snap-on as well. They're a partner or owned by Snap-on. So keep walking along the back side of the shop. More racks, more vehicles, more racks, more vehicles. We're going to head towards that Matco box right up there. I did mention earlier that we're not just partnering with Snap-on, but we're also partnering with Matco. So Matco has actually donated this box to me for me to keep up with the tools in it, but for us to use, which was awesome, which also gives the student the ability to come around this side. We're going to take a look at the Matco box compared to the Snap-on. Basically the same size box and very similar style tools. The students have the ability to use their preference. They get a hold of a Matco wrench or get a hold of a Snap-on wrench, and they can tell what they like for what they want to buy later. Newer model Lincoln car for the students to use in labs, which is awesome. Both of y'all probably had the opportunity to work on this car at some point and do some labs or air conditioning work or electrical work or engine performance type stuff. Alignment machine. We do have a John Beam, it's a V3400. Basically, this is the new state of the art, what's out in the dealership type setting of alignment machine. So when you're in chassis and steering class, you'll get the opportunity to learn how to do alignments with the alignment machine, which is awesome. If we keep coming this way, I'm going to show you some more of these tools in this particular box right here is some more scanners. This is the Veris Pro, and we have, which is Snap-on's, more of an upper line scanner. And we have a bunch of them that gives the ability for the students to be able to use a different variety of scanner. I'll be honest with you, this is a great scanner. The one that Ben had out earlier costs a lot less and will do a lot of the same work, but occasionally you might need an oscilloscope or look at something, actual commands that this one will do that the other one won't. So the next thing we're going to take a look at, we're going to go through, actually one of my classes in the back having a lab right now. So they're back there working on some automatic transmissions. So we're going to walk through and take a look at the automatic transmission class as they are working. So if we'll just start going this direction, we're going to, now before we get there, I want to stop here because this is important. A lot of paper here. Time clock. What does that mean to y'all two?
Funny.
Money.
Paid by the time we clock on.
So we do clock in and out on tickets. If they're doing a lab, they'll clock in the morning when they start on it, and they'll clock off of that lab whenever they finish that lab, and it lets me know how long they've worked on a particular job. They can go back and look at the labor times, what it's supposed to take to do that job, and compared to what they did it in, and get them an idea as well. One of y'all would hold the door as he comes through. Hi guys. We're going to be doing a little bit of training or filming here, so y'all can just keep working. But basically, they're going to film a little bit of your progress. Josh, what are you working on?
I'm putting these clutches back into the case.
Awesome. So, if we would, we're just going to walk because we got a whole nother room. And they're basically doing right now is reassembling on some transmissions. We've already done the power flow on these particular units. Understand where it happens in what particular gear we've already done. And now they're reassembling the transmission. So we're going to walk to the other rooms. I've got a whole nother group over there. And as we walk through this other middle room, I'm sorry that it's a little bit more messy. You go slide that other door open for me. A lot of parts and cores and engines and transmissions, transfer cases and differentials, and also lots of equipment in this room. This is the room we store a lot of our equipment in. Like the DTAC, this is for checking battery, starters, and alternator systems, air conditioning machine for recovery of refrigerant. And like I say, lots of cores where we have the opportunity to learn how transaxle works or transmission or manual transmission or differential or brakes. We learn rotors and drums during brake class, so I have a lot of spares that we can just practice on turning. I have a brake lathe right over here that is, we had two out in the shop, but this particular brake lathe is an on-the-car brake lathe. Any OEM type situation that you do a rotor turning, you'll have to use one of the on-cars, so we teach them how to use the on-car lathe as well. Transmission jacks, another air conditioning machine. Let's go talk to the other group. So there's some more working on transmissions in this room, and they're doing the same thing that the other room was doing. They're reassembling a transmission. Ward, can you show them your book and explain to them kind of the process of what you're working on?
Yeah. Right now we're getting towards the end of assembling the transmission. Right now we're working on getting the valve body back on. We're getting all the internal parts. We got our parking pawl over.
So you're following the directions.
Yes.
Hey, that's the way we fix stuff, is to follow the book the best as possible. There's times when the book's confusing and they have to ask me questions, but they're far enough along in the semester right now that they're pretty much understanding what's going on and really been able to do their work. And then I've got a couple more groups. Daniel, looks like, what are you putting in right now?
The servo here with the snap ring.
Servo. Well, so what's the servo's job, Ethan?
What?
Servo's job. Job of what does the servo do for our transmission?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one are you doing?
He's either on the intermittent or overdrive. He's on the intermittent.
Okay, so fire in a minute and
So servo's job is to apply it. So this kind of gives you an idea of a day-to-day scenario. They're working on the transmission. If I was in engine repair class, they might be doing the engine, or if I'm in chassis and steering, we may be out on a car, taking a part off the car and reinstalling it, or strut compressor and putting the struts back on the car after we put new, take them off and compress the strut, change it out. Engine performance, we've talked a little bit about a scan tool, running some diagnostic tests on it. That kind of gives you an idea on a day-to-day basis what we do in our shop. So if you're interested in the auto service program, I highly advise you to come by and take a day and spend some time talking to me, and I'd be happy to answer other questions that you would have of what it would take to get into the program and how to get especially with emissions and what you have to do to get there. So, any answers that are help that I could give, I'd be glad to help. So, hope all of y'all this information has been helpful. And if you have other questions, you can contact one of the students in our program or myself. Thank you.
To learn more about academic programs, financial aid, and the enrollment process, go to UACCM.edu.